Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Just a reminder, there's been a lot of new episodes of my two podcasts, the Data Nation podcast and the Web Dev 101 podcast. So if you haven't been listening to those podcasts, they essentially got rebooted. So I'm kind of re-going over all those foundational concepts in data and in web development. So if you really want to kind of get an overview of those concepts, I highly recommend subscribing on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or wherever you get podcasts. Now, today what I want to talk about is how to create your own React template. Okay, and basically this technique can be used for any framework. So you can make Svelte templates, Vue templates, Express templates. The idea is you want to create a repo that you can start from where you've kind of already done the initial startup work. Okay, so essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin up a new React project. Now instead of using Create React App, I'm going to use the Vite project generator just because I find Vite to be a faster bundler. So I like working with Vite or Vite is actually how it should be pronounced. So what you do is you do npm init Vite. So I'm in this React folder where I generate React projects. So these are just a bunch of other projects from previous videos you've seen. Okay, npm init Vite. And what this is going to do is going to run the Vite project generator to help me generate just like a plain vanilla React project. The great thing about the Vite generator is that I can use one generator and it's going to let me generate projects and it's going to be taking a second because I'm currently in node 618. And one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of little still a lot of little bugs with React 18. I mean, not React 18, with Node 18. So I'm going to use NVM, Node Version Manager, to just use Node 16. I find like everything seems to work smoother when I'm using Node 16. Okay, so there I am. So let me try that again. npm init Vite. Okay, and see, it works. Now I put in my project name. We're just going to say React template. And then it lets me choose what type of project I want to make. So I could make just a plain vanilla like HTML, CSS, JavaScript project, Vue, React, Preact, Lit, Svelte. Okay, so that's great. One generator allows me to kind of work with different frameworks using that Vite bundler, which is super sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the React template. Okay, I'm going to just use the straight up React, no TypeScript, so React. And there it goes. And here's my project. So now I just need to cd into that folder, cd React template. So now I'm in the folder. So here's the project generates. Looks like if you use Create React App, this is generally going to set up the same thing. The only difference, instead of using Webpack as a bundler, is using Vite as a bundler, which works a little bit differently. Which can mean like when you start building a really big app, it's still going to run pretty smooth because it's taking advantage of more modern modules. Okay, so essentially what I want to do is that I don't want to have to like set up React Router every time, set up my favorite like CSS and JS library. Like I don't want to do any of these things over and over again because it's just basic boilerplate. So what I can do at this point is now just do all that boilerplate. Then I'm going to end up pushing up this code to a GitHub repo, and that way I can just start from there anytime I need to create a new project. Okay, so I'm just going to do the basics. Like I'm going to set up React Router and styled components. So we'll say npm install. Now technically, if I was going to start developing here, I would want to do like an npm install because Vite doesn't automatically install all the libraries. Notice the absence of a node modules folder. So if you want to install all this stuff here, you have to do an npm install. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to set it up. So npm install React Router. And then I'm going to also want styled components. Okay, styled components. Cool. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a couple folders. New folder components. And in there, I'm going to create a folder called styled components. Oh, that's a file, so escape. New folder, styled components. That way I can organize all my styled components in one place. Okay. And what I'm going to do is in the styled components folder, I'm going to make it just to show you styled components. I will create like a basic container. So container.js. Okay. Although did that. I want to get to the container.js. Oh, I made a folder called container.js. That's what I did. So let's delete that folder. Let's make a file. New file. Container.js. And then I can just import styled components, like import styled from styled components. Let me just double check that that's exactly the way I should import that. I always get confused if it's going to be like a named export or just a default export. So let me just go look up styled components. Styled components. I just want to see how they import it. Yep, import styled from styled components. Good. Okay. And then basically, what I want to do is just create like a container, which is just basically going to be like a div that kind of already is a flexbox in a sense. Or I could call it row, whatever I want to do. So we'll say const row, actually. Okay. And row is going to equal a styled dot div. And that style is going to be display flex, flex wrap, justify content, space between, padding, say 10 pixels. And again, I would then want to like export default this. So default row. Okay, and see in there I have my styled components. So I'd write all my like pre-styled components this way using styled components. And then I want to set up React router. So I want to head over to index.js or main.jsx. So for the Vite template, they use a main.jsx instead of a index.js like create React apps. So always keep that in mind. You want to kind of like see where stuff is. Okay. Okay, so we see all that there. Good. Okay, and essentially what I want to do here is import browser router as router from React router DOM. Oh, I installed React router, not React router DOM. So let me fix that. That should be React router DOM. And let me do this. npm uninstall React DOM. And then npm install React router DOM. So we can do it all as one command. Just get it all done. Cool. Let me just double check my package.json, make sure that's all set up right. There we go. React. Oh, I still don't want React router in there, so I didn't remove it. So I will just manually remove it. I only want React and React router DOM. That's fine. Okay. And now let me head back to main.jsx. And then what we want to do is just wrap app in browser router. No, not router. Okay. Now, basically, generally when you're working with router, you generally have a folder called pages. So I might as well create that folder now too. Pages. And then I might as well create like the main page. So new file main.jsx and just be like create a function. So function main props. And that's going to return right now just an h1 the main page. And then we will export default main. Okay. So generally what's going to happen is that, and again, there's different ways you can set this up, but again, whatever your typical pattern is, I'm going to empty out this div here for the app component. And again, you can apply the same logic whether you're using Svelte, Vue. So if you're using any of those other frameworks, you would just do the same thing. Okay. Or the equivalent in that framework. So I'm going to get rid of this. Really, all I want to do here Actually, I can get rid of that. All I really want to do here is import routes and route from React Router DOM. There we go. And essentially what we do here is we just say like, hey, this is like the title of the page. Then here we'd have maybe like the footer of the page where you'd put like all any kind of footer stuff. And then here I'd put in the router. So I would say routes. And then here I'd put in like a route. And the route's path would be slash because it's the main route. And then the element that this will generate will be main, which I then need to import. So import main. There we go. Good, good, good. And then there we go. I have like a basic like sort of setup. And again, I can always like embellish on this when I do a new project, but the idea is I have like a starting place now. So then what I would do is I would just do like a git add, or I can, yeah, do a git add dot to add all the things. Okay, and actually let me make sure there's actually even a repo in here. So let me do this, git, actually ls-la. Is there a separate repo in here? Because I think I'm already inside of a sub repository. So yeah, let me create a repository in here. Git init. Okay, git add dot git commit dash m first commit. Okay, let me just make sure. Always when you're working with sub repos, there's little issues, but let me just make sure that there's only one commit on this, so it's detecting the right repo. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head over to github.com. And I have a special like organization just for templates. So see Alex Merced templates. And then what I can do is I can create a new repo. So view organization. Actually, probably easier if I just go all the way over here and click new repository. Okay, now here I can choose which organization I want to make it part of. So Alex Merced templates. And then I want to make it called React Template 2022. And we'll make it public and create repository. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go connect the repo. Like that. Now again, I can just do a git push origin main, push that up. Okay, because see that one command is really what kind of sets the remote, meaning you're saying, hey, point to this repo whenever I want to push. And now if I refresh the page, there's the code. Okay, so my code's there. And what I can do is two ways I can now use this going forward as a template. I can either go to settings and then mark this as a template repository. So now going forward, whenever I create a new repository, so if I were to go create a new repository now, you see the section that says repository template. I can look up one of the templates that I have. Where's the new one I just created? It's at the bottom. See, now I have like too many templates, but you guys get the idea. I find the template that I'm looking for here. Yeah, here it is, React Template 2022. And when I create the new repository, it's going to create a copy. This repository will be a copy of that repository. And then I can clone it down. Okay? And then that way I can just start from there. But what if you like doing it in the more like terminal style? Like that's what I prefer. Okay? I prefer just being able to like enter in like a command here in terminal and create a new project. Well, what I can do is you can use a tool called degit, made by the same people who made Svelte and Rollup. And what it does is you do npx degit, and what it does, it just makes a copy of that repository without it being connected to the original Git repository. So essentially, it just makes a copy of the project for you. And then after you do npx degit, you do the name of the repo. So if I go back here, let me just go back to the actual repo itself. This is the name of the repo. Okay. So it's like username / the repo name. And generally, just to play it safe, what I do is I'll add the branch at the end. So it's hash the main branch. So if you want to like clone a different branch, but what this will do, and then after that space, you give it a project name. So we'll just say like, from template, we'll call the project. Okay, so right over there, let me just so you can see from template. Okay, so that's from template. So now when I hit enter here, and now we'll see like there's a from template. Let's see, this is, and it's just a copy of the project, and see like there's all my components folder, my pages folder, my package.json already has like styled components and React Router DOM installed. Oh wait a second, I just realized I deleted React DOM. Oops. Okay. Okay. Let me go back there and fix that. So let me go back to the React template. cd react dash template. And let me go back and install React DOM because that's necessary. What I wanted to remove was React Router, but I accidentally removed React DOM. Okay, so let me go back to that package.json. Okay, good. And then let me just update. I have a little script to quickly update repos. Update origin main. Okay, now that's updated. So now next time I clone a project, that'll be working. Okay, and you could also just use my template if you want. I'll put the command in the video description. But the point is like, you can create your own custom components. Have all the stuff that you would generally do every project, have it ready out of the gate so that we have like a solid starting place that you can use over and over again. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Again, subscribe to my podcast. Have a great day and enjoy.